With school just a few weeks away, parents have their checklists of everything they need to get their students ready. Emma McDarris spoke with the Springfield Greene County Health Department about why parents should not wait to make sure their kids are up to date on vaccines. Emma?
Lee, here at the Springfield Greene County Health Department, they're reminding parents to beat that back-to-school rush for vaccines. Parents of students who are going into kindergarten or 7th or 8th grade, getting these vaccines can be a stressful thing to check off their list. Many health departments are trying to make this easier with free vaccines for uninsured or underinsured students by making appointments available all day. Another thing parents can do to make the shots less scary is talking to their students about what to expect and why they're getting them.
Thing is being honest and upfront what to expect, what it will look like, maybe having diversion activities. If they love to read, bring a book. If a tablet is something that they're passionate about, bring that. Just something to distract, but honesty and letting and communicating with your child on what to expect can really help alleviate some of those fears and anxieties.
Make sure to check with your healthcare provider to see if they're doing any special clinics for the back-to-school rush, or call your local health department to see what services they're providing. Reporting live in Springfield, Emma McDarris, KYR3 News.